successes. But we can't expect someone else to assume the responsibility for the failure if it's our specification. So I think we're kind of looking in the wrong direction.
Well, I think what we're trying to do is combine two processes, because until IDOT at least takes it out of the experimental, until they buy into it and they'll support it, then we can't be looking for somebody to guarantee it, because it is just experimental, and I would agree with you, Mr. Brady, we do that on our dime. That experiment is on our dime. But if they ever acknowledged it and set specifications for it, I don't think it is so far off the mark to ask that there be some shared ownership in the quality of things, or a process with the vendor and the person contracting. Well, and most decidedly, I guarantee you, as Mr. Provenzano said, we'll see what the dollar amount will be that came with it. Mr. Provenzano? Yeah.
Yeah, there was no intent to indicate that our vendors were providing what it is that we were specifying. Scott's right, it's all in the specifications. But if there's a specification line item in there that talks about outcomes or durability factors, again, it's all done up front so that the vendors know what they're bidding on. And I think that my question was answered when we did that before. No one bid on it. So
it's enlightening.
It is. And you know, certainly over the last 3 weeks, I've gotten a crash course on asphalt and penetration rates and emulsifications, and everything that goes into just the oil side of asphalt is expensive, and the specifications change dramatically. And, it's amazing the science that goes into it. So there's a lot of experimentation that we should be looking at, and so I don't need to impugn our efforts to experiment. I'm just looking at other ways of getting more buy-in with the vendors so that, you know, the industry is also experimenting with the taxpayers.
Which is the great point that I was going to mention with this. Usually when you have IDOT that works on this stuff, it goes hand in hand with them working with the industry experts. Right. And that is something that is obviously has lacked in any type of innovative technology in Illinois. Is that they're not working together to develop some type of spec. If you go back to what we were doing for the microservices when we got no bids, we had already modified that. If you want to talk about the specification side of it, if you remember, those of you on the committee, we did a separate hauling contract to get the material here. Because the vendors, through the discussions with the industry, couldn't secure that because that was from a different state. And there are, I don't know how to put it, unwritten gentleman handshakes or whatever, that understandings that I won't bid in your backyard, you don't bid in my backyard.
So it's an interesting topic, and we've just scratched the surface. Okay, interesting conversation, but let's move on. Mr. Provenzano then.
Yes.
Mr. Breeden. Ms. Delgado. Ms. Evertson?
Yes.
Ms. Jensen?
Yes.
Ms. Peschke and myself, yes. Then moving on to 8.